What is going on, DDL addicts? I am one and you guys are one because you're here, so it's good that you're here and we're all just going to be enjoying this together. I'm Jingles, just in case it's your first time. Welcome to the channel. We do everything Draft League here. Right now we're doing the DDL, Ditto Draft League, with 10 content creators, and we have a whole lot of fun matches that we're going to get into. This video is going to be talking mostly about week 2, but week 1 is now in the books. If you missed those games, go check them out before you really find out what's going on in week 2, because you don't want to miss anything that happened in week 1. It was insane. It was a crazy start to the season, and I can't wait to dive into week 2. But if you're interested in who's playing, check down in the description which coaches are. I've got them down there with their actual YouTube channels, so you can go check out their week 1 battles, their team reviews, things like that. And yeah, it's just a whole lot of content for a whole lot of matches and a whole lot of fun. So I'm glad you guys are here. But just to kind of put a little bow on week 1, right now we've got Jon Luke VGC, Konamiplsnerf, Shuckleking, Zolrain, and Zem all won their week 1s. Myself, Alex, Justin, Cisco, and Scooteezy all fell in week 1 as well. I did a little fun highlight video. It's only about 5 minutes long. I posted it yesterday. But it was a lot of fun to make, and it kind of felt like a little sportscaster kind of thing. So if you're into sports and that kind of thing, you don't have a whole lot of time, you're behind on the matches, you don't have time to watch all of them, just go check out that little highlight reel, and it'll kind of catch you up on kind of the highlights of what happened in week 1, so you can actually kind of be caught up and then move on to week 2 and dive into this. But this is a video previewing week 2, but so that was kind of how it went in week 1. You've got, like, obviously I don't want to break down every single match and what happened, like, because we're here for week 2, but these are the standings. I know they don't really mean a lot in week 1 because there's a whole lot of weeks left. There's a 7-week season, 4 playoff spots, as you can see. So I don't think any of these 4 players are feeling comfortable right now because it's so early, and I don't think any of the players down here are nervous. Maybe if you get into week 2, week 3, and you know you're still in the same spot, you might have something to worry about. But it's going to be a very, very close season. But I didn't really have a chance to do this in the WDL because sometimes I recorded the videos before they updated the stats, but I am the bringer of the stats. I'm the one that actually entered them in these docs, so I'll be able to actually keep them up to date. So if it is behind, you'll know whose fault it is. It is definitely mine. But we are here right now, so let's get into the statistics, I guess. So as of right now, we got the kill leader. We've got a combination of Raging Bolt, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Walking Wake, and the Gouging Fire, all leading the way at 6 kills. And then just behind, you've got the Iron Crown, the Sylveon, the Monkey Dory had a decent week, even though Alex lost his week. Justin's Hydreigon, the Archaludon, but now we're getting into 2, and a lot of Pokemon got 2. Death Leader, so we got Pokemon that died every single game that got brought to, but you'll notice that this one won, this one lost, this one lost, this one won. So the deaths on a specific Pokemon don't always necessarily mean a bad thing. It just means they filled their role, and their role was to die. But just, so we got kill-death ratio. This one just kind of explains how much more they kill than they die. So obviously in week 1, when the stats are very low, it's pretty basic. You have obviously 6-0. So actually, technically, this Raging Bolt, because it didn't die, is actually an infinite number right now because there's nothing to compare it to. But I think we just kind of put something in there that if you did not die, then it wouldn't be like an error message or whatever it is in the doc. But Urshifu obviously died once, so it's the same, even though this one actually does have a better ratio. And then you've got, yeah, so the kills do not necessarily correlate to the kill-death ratio because obviously it's if they die. Kills per game, that's also another way to show how well they've done, because if they come to every single game and you just pad their stats, they have a lot of kill numbers, but they just don't get a lot of kills per game, so use them effectively kind of thing. That this actually might be more so what this category would hold. Deaths per game, this one kind of shows it's actually ranked from low to high, so this is actually a good thing you want to be leading right now in this category. So it shows that Urshifu is coming but not dying. So but as we can tell, the Raging Bolt is not on there because it is should be a 0, so I should probably look into that. It might actually have an error, an infinite, so it's actually not there, but it'll eventually die. I doubt something will go the entire season without dying. Efficiency rating. So we've got actually some fun little stats. I'm a baseball nerd. I talked about the Blue Jays and stuff like that on their World Series run and stuff like that. But so stats, they mean a lot, and it actually paints a cleaner picture, a clearer picture. So we do have some other ones that are based on those stats as well. So efficiency rating is kills divided by, and there should be brackets around these, by the way, because if you do kills divided by kills, that's just going to be a 1. So that's not really going to matter. But so it should be kills divided by kills plus deaths, gives you an efficiency rating. Yeah, again, it just kind of shows the effectiveness of a Pokemon. Survival rate. This one's pretty important too. How many times that, based on when you bring it, does it survive? So it's not necessarily the exact like deaths per game and things like that. It does, again, it does show you a little bit more. Usage, so percentage of all the games that you played, how many times did this Pokemon appear? So apparently Urshifu so far has been brought in 43% of the games it's played in. That actually does not seem right. Hold on a second, because we've only played 3 weeks. So yeah, we might have to look into that one. That one might actually be broken, but we'll have to see. And then we've got kill participation, kills divided by total team's kills. So this is how much, what percentage of your team's kills is this Pokemon getting. So this one's actually really important as well. Let me see. Team contribution. This one's an interesting one. I'm trying to explain this one, but this one basically just puts 2 of the analytical stats together and they multiply them by each other to kind of give you a, so you're putting 2 stats together rather than just using 1. So again, this one might be a whole value to team. So this one actually might be along the lines of an MVP contributor. Like when it comes to an MVP and how valuable it is to your team, you need, all of these stats need to be taken into consideration. How many do you contribute to getting KOs? Do you die very little? The ratio between the 2, how many kills per game you get, deaths per game, so how like surviving per game you get brought. Like if you're not coming to the game, you can't be at fault if the game is lost or something, right? Efficiency rating, survival rate, like usage, things like that. The participation, I really like this kill participation one. This just kind of paints a clear picture of like, hey, like this one is just raking. This one is doing so well. So I think this is going to be more so the MVP leader category. So we'll see how we'll follow it as the season goes, and then we're going to fix the brought percentage, because that definitely does not look right. There's only been 3 games, and I'm pretty sure when I faced Urshifu, it came to every single game, and it just wiped the floor with me. But yeah, that was week 1. So those are the stats. This is kind of the kill leaders and how it's going. Obviously, it's still really, really early, so there's not really much to say. But as the season goes on, it'll kind of make things a little bit clearer. We went over the standings as well. Week 2 schedule. Oh yeah, just in case. So by the way, hats off to my friend Julian, who actually made this doc. This doc is very impressive. So if you guys go into this viewer doc, you'll get everything that you need to basically analyze what is going on in the season, right? So you've got obviously the matchups, you've got the replays right here. So for example, we've got Dire Claw's replay is right here from week 1. Just in case you want to watch me lose, you have Shucklekin's version of my matchup, and then right beside it on the left, you've got mine. So just in case you wanted to watch everything, so you can either go into the description, find the channel, and then go find their video, or go into the playlist. I think there's a playlist kicking around somebody made that you can watch all of them, or you just go into the doc here and then just find them and watch them as they come. So it's really cool stuff. So thank you, Julian, for doing that. We got the schedule week 2. We've got these are the, well, you know what, I can kind of get into the doc as well, right? So you also have the individual team statistics as well, right? Just in case you wanted to find out how a specific Pokemon is doing on a team, it has all the stats right here, and there's an individual page for each one of them. So just in case you want to check out mine, because why would you want to check out any of the other ones? You just want to watch mine, right? Then you can actually find out how my season is going and how each Pokemon is going. And then when you guys comment saying, Jay, you should really drop this thing, it's awful. But this will basically give you everything you need to know about every single team that's going on. We got the cover here, we've got the current week, the tier list, just in case you want to build your own team and maybe recommend some trades for a certain team. We love the dialogue in the comments here and in the Discord. It's a lot of fun. And if you have not seen this doc yet, go check it out. Julian put in a lot of work here, and it's a lot of fun just to kind of have these numbers and stats and stuff, because I'm a stats guy. But anyway, so that is the basically week 1 kind of recap, where we're at in the season, how Pokemon are doing, how teams are doing, how players are doing. And well, let's dive into week 2. I actually have a drink here because last time I did this, I lost my voice almost. So I will try to promote actually when these matches are coming out, because I do have when the matches are coming out, because I'm actually going to do a post on Friday morning when the weekend I should let me know if you guys want me to do it earlier. I just do it Friday morning, but the first match is Friday, so you might want to know a little bit before when the matches are happening, because sometimes I know, sometimes I don't, but I found out from the players when they're planning on releasing, you know, that way at least we can let you guys know. So but anyway, so Alex versus Shuckleking. Alexusedsplash versus Shuckleking 87. This is the week 2 matchup. So right now, Alex is 0-1, and then Shuckleking is 1-0. So a good strong start on one side, but I also feel like Alex played pretty well in his week 1 as well. But just kind of maybe in game 3 might have played. I think the leads in his game 3 weren't exactly the strongest. So that might have actually been his downfall there, but I feel like he barely lost game 2. He really won game 1, and then Zem just kind of took care of business in game 3. But what are we looking at in week 2? Alex versus Shuckleking. So we have the big boppers, and obviously of Alex with the rain. He decided not to go with the rain in week 1, which I'm not sure it was the best way to go. I know that he had his reasons, not wanting to enable things, or he had like an Altaria on the other side of the field, but that just means it's something that navigate. It's not necessarily means you cannot bring it. It's like intimidate and competitive. Oh, I can't bring my, defiant and competitive. It's like, I usually hear people say, I can't bring my intimidate mon. Yeah, you can. It's just, you just have to navigate it. It doesn't mean you instantly lose. It just means you have to have a contingency plan for that. So, what do we think this one's actually going to happen right now? I do know that both teams like the rain. Kind of like, I know that the Urshifu loves rain up. I know that the Tornadus loves rain up. So this might be a week where you'd have to think about it. Again, it doesn't mean you can't. It just means that it's something you have to navigate. So, but the best Pokemon on Alex's team is Archaludon, Landorus, Basculegion. I feel like this is definitely an Iron Treads stay home week for sure. I don't know why you'd bring the Iron Treads this week. Like, it's just threatened by so many things, like maybe the Fluttermane, I guess, like, but I feel like Fluttermane you can kind of get around. Like the Monkey Dory's okay, it resists the Fairy. The Overquill deals with it pretty well for the most part. Pretty much any physical attacker. The Basculegion doesn't mind it as long as it's defensively terra'd. Arch doesn't mind it either, so I just think that it's a risk to bring the Iron Treads this week, but we'll have to see if it actually shows up. But the Arch and Rain definitely looks very good. You just have to watch out for the Lightning Rod Rhydon over there. The Landorus looks fantastic into most matchups, but I do think that the Urshifu Rapid Strikes makes it very difficult to deal with. This actually might be a situation where both of these Pokemon are going to be Scarfed. Because, like, how do you not run Choice Scarf on your Urshifu Rapid Strike when there's an obvious Rain mode over there? You can outspeed the Basculegion. You can outspeed the Kilowattrel. You know, and then you've got the Tornadus. You don't necessarily need the Tailwind there, so expect either of these to be Scarfed. I like personally Scarfing to counter a Scarf user. If you look at the other side and you're like, if they Scarf this thing, I'm in trouble, so let me Scarf this just in case. It's always something to consider when you're prepping in draft, right? Like, how are they going to beat you? I say this all the time. You have to ask yourself, how is your opponent going to want to beat you? And, you know, what likelihood is there of bringing that said strategy, and should I counter it, should I not? And that's just the dynamic of building in Draft League, which is a lot of fun, which is why we do it. But if we look at the Basculegion here, I think the Basculegion looks pretty good. I'm trying to think what actually, like the Fluttermane, as long as you navigate the Fluttermane, so I can see Fluttermane being Focus Sash over here, just so that way you can take a Rain speed boosted, Swift Swim boosted speed, Last Respects, or like a Terra Ghost, Terra Blast, and you can survive and then OHKO it back with a potential Shadow Ball. Again, I don't think the Iron Treads is coming. The Politoed, I do like the idea of having two types of rain. So like if you have the Politoed and you have like the Kilowattrel or something. But again, you have to watch out, are you enabling your other team? But I do think Politoed looks pretty safe here. Like, you're not taking super effective damage from the Fluttermane, the the Urshifu, the Tornadus, the Volcarona, the Tinkaton. So those are the big 5 you have to watch out for, and I think water types are not in the worst position for that. I know that when I faced Shuckleking, my Milotic looked pretty good. So I think Politoed looks pretty good too, but it might be the water absorb version, just to completely wall that Urshifu. You could just go like Terra, Ghost, Water Absorb, and now Urshifu can't touch you. That could be a thing as well. But again, how are you doing damage back is the question. Overquill, I do think looks pretty good here as well. I think it makes that Fluttermane really think. Maybe like an Assault Vest version could be good. You intimidate the Urshifu, defensive Terra for the Urshifu. But again, these 5 are so difficult to counter. I guess I would just put these 4 here. The Urshifu, Fluttermane, Tornadus, Volcarona. The Kilowattrel, I think, looks pretty good too. Actually, wait a second. The Overquill, I wasn't quite done yet. The Intimidate into the Rhydon, into the Urshifu, I guess. Maybe if you go Terra Water or something. I think I did this myself. You go Terra Water, and then you could just kind of lower the damage from the fighting stab on the Urshifu. There could be a way to go. That way you intimidate it, and then you just resist the water moves. So I like Overquill. I do think Overquill is kind of neat. He actually tried to pull off the Pin Missile into his Archaludon to get the defense boost, so that could be a way to deal with it as well, because again, you resist the water moves. Yes, they crit through your defense boost, but you resist it really well, so that might be good. And then you get the defense boost, so now the close combat doesn't do that much into the Arch. Could be kind of cool. Maybe he does it again this week. The Kilowattrel, I do think you do need to match the Tailwind of the opponent, but again, it's the Tailwind Tornadus next to the Urshifu Rapid Strike, so you go for Tailwind, and then you just delete the Kilowattrel. It's not exactly the most bulky Pokemon in the world, so that's I feel like every single opponent, every single week is always going to have major counters for Tornadus, Urshifu. Always. It's such a good combination. It's good in VGC, good in Draft, really hard to stop. But if you know what's coming, you might be able to do like Basculegion lead, and you know, then maybe it's not. You have to find all the ways on your team that you can deal with it. So that's something he'll have to navigate. So maybe not Kilowattrel. There might be a universe where it comes, but possibly. Monkey Dory, the fake out's always nice too. You have to watch out for Covercloak, but I feel like you can frisk that. Maybe you can, you know, scout that in game 1, and then you can use it later. Monkey Dory, maybe, I don't know. Like Psychic definitely goes into the Urshifu, but again, it always comes down, like, you could Scarf the Monkey Dory maybe, or Defensive Terra, but again, I'm talking about Terraing your entire team, right? You can only Terra one of them. The Quagsire, again with the Water Absorb, this might be a situation where you could just go Water Absorb and then resist the fighting move on the Urshifu, maybe Terra Bug or something like that. I doubt it because of the Bleak Windstorm on the Tornadus, so maybe something that you can resist the fighting, so maybe just Terra Ghost, but then you got to watch out for the Fluttermane. Not a whole lot of things resist well, fighting. You have Fairy. Actually, Fairy's not bad. I would rather deal with the Tinkaton than the as I just get slaughtered by it in week 1. It didn't slaughter me. It did okay. Like, it's just Urshifu was just waiting for after this thing just kind of took off. But and then you have the Dipplin. Again, I don't even know why it's on the team. It kind of answers the Urshifu, I guess, but what are you doing to a Fluttermane? So that's another thing. But yeah, so team composition, maybe a combination of Archaludon. You can't really not leave it at home. Basculegion looks good. Politoed, I think there's a universe where it comes. Overquill, I think it comes. And then Landorus, I do think there's a universe where Landorus looks good. It's just Terra Water probably looks the best, and this might be your Terra candidate because it just hits so hard. So you might have to bring that because Ground, and then the Poison, and it actually gets Psychic too into that Urshifu Rapid Strike. So we'll have to see exactly what he brings in week 2. I have no idea what they bring. It's my brain cannot handle all these matches. So that's basically it for Alex's team. Going into Shuckle's team, again, I don't know how you don't always start your prep with Tornadus Urshifu and find, like, okay, so you're like, I'm gonna go Tailwind, and then you got your Choice Scarf or Choice Band Urshifu or whatever it might be. I think Choice Scarf looks great here. Terra Water's probably fine, just to go for doing max damage. And then you just kind of look at, okay, well, how is my opponent going to stop this? Okay, well, he could do defensive Terra, he could do the Water Absorb stuff, so I need to be able to hit Terra Ghost and Terra Fairy, so maybe Tinkaton comes, Fluttermane comes. I don't know a universe when you would ever leave one of the best Pokemon ever made at home in Fluttermane. So I do think that just Urshifu, Tornadus, Fluttermane, You can use Alex's Rain against him. It's a little risky seeing how in week 1 he showed that he doesn't necessarily have to bring it to do well. So, because I was thinking like you could bring Hurricane on Volcarona, you could bring Thunder on the Fluttermane, but the fact that you can set it yourself with the Tornadus, this might be a situation where you could just do it anyway. If he sets it for you, you take advantage of it. If he doesn't, you set it yourself. So the Volcarona can run Hurricane. You've got Thunder here. Just watch out for your own Rhydon with Lightning Rod. I know he brought up both of them against me, but yeah. I do think that Sun looks okay too, but I feel like your Urshifu is just so good here. Like, I wouldn't want to set the Sun. I would just want to keep the Rain up or none. Arboliva, sorry, let's go into the Volcarona. Volcarona, maybe it might be more of a supportive piece this week. You could do something like Struggle Bug, Rage Powder, things like that. And if for some reason you decide to go for the Sun, you could do like Fiery Dance or something. Also, side note, why is there not an Oricorio on this team? Am I right? Like, I feel like Oricorio would be fantastic with Dancer strats. It's so cheap. Like, drop the Cryogonal. I don't know. You don't have an electric type, right? So just go grab the Oricorio electric. I can't remember. Pom-Pom, I think it is. And then you've got the Volcarona Quiver Dance with the Dancer strat on the thing. I've already played him, so good luck everybody else. I was going to recommend moves, but like, nah, not for the team I might be facing. So if they ask me, then I'll tell them whatever, but because it's fun. But let me see. So we've got the Volcarona. Yeah, probably more in a supportive role. Tinkaton. I don't know if this is the week for Tinkaton. I don't really know what it's doing aside from like niche strategies like Terra Fairy. Maybe a fake out user, like, because you don't really have any aside from the Tinkaton. Like maybe the Scraggy. Like Scraggy looks okay, I guess, into like Basculegion. It can really hit that arch maybe. Maybe Focus Ash or something on the Scraggy, but again, I think it looks good on the Fluttermane. So that's something that he has to navigate. The Rhydon, I think looks okay. I might get in your own way. I don't know how good the Kilowattrel looks here. It looks okay. But if you just don't bring the Rhydon, just target down the Kilowattrel and you'll be fine. Arboliva, I think, has an interesting place here. It resists the Archaludon, maybe an Assault Vest on the Arboliva. Could be really good, makes that Archaludon have a hard time. Because the Earth Power just goes into it really well, resists the Electro Shot, and doesn't take super effective hits from its 2 stabs. Just watch out for the Body Press. Chimecho, maybe? Okay, I'm not saying that Chimecho's a bad Pokemon, it's just, how can you have to give me a very good reason to not run these 4 every single week. And then it doesn't really leave much space for your other 4. So it's a good and a bad thing, because Draft League is meant to throw your opponent off by bringing things they might not expect. But when you have such, like, these 4 things answer so many things. So you could just bring these 4 and just run different ways to use them, and then just whatever you're missing in a given week, just add one of these things. So maybe in a week, Chimecho could work, Arboliva could work, Rhydon could work, Tinkaton, even Scraggy, Cryogonal, maybe. So this just might be a universe where Chimecho might not come this week. I don't really think it comes. I feel like the Basculegion's too good. Maybe a ground immunity for the Lando, Icy Wind stuff. I don't know. If I'm sitting here humming and hawing, like, it's probably not coming. Cryogonal, unlikely. Like, it is a special wall, which is kind of nice. 135, I think it is. 135. Yeah, it matches Fluttermane's special defense, which is wild. Yeah, so just take out the physical attackers in the Basculegion and the Treads and the Overquill maybe. And then, you know, Cryogonal does pretty well. So Freeze Dry does look pretty good into Lando, Basculegion, Politoed. So it could come this week. And then the Intimidate on the Scraggy looks okay into the Basculegion, but not really a whole lot else. Like maybe the Overquill, but I don't really... It does kind of wall that Overquill, which is kind of cool. But, so that's basically the matchup. So who do I think is going to win this week? Again, it's really hard to bet against Shuckle-King's core, right? Because, like, again, you're really bringing a weapon for Shuckle-King's team to use, right? Like, and if you're not bringing your best mode in the rain, the team is like suboptimal, I guess, in a sense. Like, it's kind of designed to go with rain, and if you're not bringing it, the team can work. It's just I feel like you might want to bring your best. So in this week, it might be one of those Alex needs to bring his rain. And here's my best. You know I'm bringing it. Try to stop it. And just do like a little Rock'em Sock'em Roblox kind of thing. Just take shot for shot. The games are over in 4 or 5 turns and move on to week 3, right? So I'd probably give the edge to Shuckleking here just because I feel like he has just a strong core. It's going to be hard for me to not give him the advantage most weeks. But again, tune into his matchup. We've got Alex releasing his. Let me just double check. Alex is... Where is it here? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to find out when these matches are coming out. Because I know that Alex and Shuckleking, I think it's like noon on Friday. Where is it here? Wow, this is professional, Jay. I say that a lot, don't I? Let's go to posts. Okay. Yeah, that was last week. So I'll just have to remember these as I go. I could always go on my Discord or something and kind of find out. So yeah, this Friday matchup is going at noon. So go check it out. Again, go subscribe to these guys and put on notifications. And also we have the Google Calendar too to remind you as well. It doesn't actually have when it's coming out, but which matches to look out for. I think the best thing to do is just subscribe for the duration. And then you just put on your notifications so it tells you when they are. And then watch your favorite players. Follow the people that, you know, watch your favorites adversaries that week. And it's just a lot of fun to kind of get in the head of the people that are playing your favorite players. So but moving on to the second match, the first of the Saturday matches, Scooteezy versus Zemtennar. Scooteezy probably wished he had that week 1 back. Like I know that Jon Luke ended up winning 2-0 by a large margin, but I feel like he had the Duosion there for the Trick Room, and Jon Luke just went Trick Room and he just didn't use one of the tools. He brought it, right? He just didn't really feel comfortable using it, it seems. But the Duo, so don't expect him. He's a smart guy. Don't expect him to make that mistake again, but he doesn't play a lot of draft. But yeah, definitely expect him to come out strong in week 2. Zemtennar, actually, I feel like he kind of not lucked out. I don't want to say a player lucked out, but I do feel like that he was on the ropes in game 2 and he managed to kind of wiggle his way out of that one and ended up squeezing out a win in week 1. But again, they don't ask how, they ask how many, right? So when it comes down to winning, you just win. Nobody asks how, you just do it, right? So that might just be the way he goes this season. But anyway, so Scooteezy versus Zem. We've got, I think, one of the stronger teams in the draft. Again, we were talking about like super strong cores. You got the Ogerpon, the Chiyu, the Enamorus, the Thundurus, Sandy Shocks, Hitmontop, and then you have the supporting cast near the bottom. Then you've got down here at Zem, you have the Ogerpon, the Rillaboom, the Sneasler, super nice core. The Walking Wake, I think, did wonders in week 1. It saved him actually big time. Again, I think I mentioned in my preview for the season showing the teams, Walking Wake is going to do a lot of lifting for this team, so expect it to come every single week. Have as many answers as you can for this thing every single week, but also try to navigate the Hearthflame and the Rillaboom and the Sneasler as well. And again, the supporting cast down here, the Rubami did some things in week 1. We didn't see any of the lower ones, but he just kind of went with his top mons, which is usually what people do in draft most of the time. Let your best Pokemon do your lifting for you, or as Wolfie says, let your team work for you rather than you work for your team. So put your best foot forward. So what's the matchup looking like? So Scooteezy with the Ogerpon Wellspring. I do think the redirection is really nice, especially with the water stab into the Hearthflame. I think it looks pretty good. What else? It's probably going to be used in more of a supportive role because it really doesn't want to see that Rillaboom or the Sneasler. So you could bring it in support, and then honestly, it doesn't even look that great here. Wow, how do you not bring one of your best Pokemon to this match? I think it's going to come. It's just in what regard. It could be like an Encore set. It could be Follow Me, Spiky Shield, and then just have the Stab Water. I don't think Grass really does anything for you here. Yeah, he's got no weaknesses. So I can see something like either just the Ivy Cudgel, maybe a coverage move with Follow Me and Spiky Shield, or you just go with the third support move instead of that attack. I think that could be good. Chiyu looks fantastic here, right? It resists the Rillaboom, resists the Ogerpon, hits things super hard. You just have to watch out for the Walking Wake. You also have to watch out for enabling his special attacking Pokemon on the Walking Wake as well, because it does weaken your partner as well on the special side, lowering its special defense. But I do think Chiyu looks really good as well. I think the dark looks okay. The dark and the fire kind of hit everything you really need to. Like, I'm trying to think what it doesn't hit. Really nothing. Like, you can kind of hit everything, so why not? The Enamorous, I think the Enamorous just looks fantastic all the time. It kind of walls that Rillaboom. Rillaboom doesn't get any rock coverage, doesn't get any ice coverage, no electric coverage. Could run a Terra Blast, I guess, but I would have it there. Maybe a Flying Terra Blast looks good this week because you got flying. You know, just hits things super hard, so why not? Just watch out for the Sneasler. I'm trying to think, like, maybe Flying Terra Blast, but then you might need the defensive Terra against the Sneasler, but maybe that's where the redirection kind of comes in with the Ogerpon, but we'll have to see. The Thundurus, I think, looks okay as well. It's always a nice support piece. This team really likes to go fast, so just a T-Wave spam against this team looks really good. It doesn't even have a Trick Room setter, so may as well just start going for Thunder Wave spam. But that's, I also think the Clefairy comes into play here as well, just redirecting those Thunder Waves. You can't paralyze the same Pokemon more than once, so Clefairy could be really nice with that Friend Guard as well. So if he does go with that Thundurus, then Clefairy just looks really good. The Sandy Shocks goes into this team as well. He didn't bring it week 1. I don't think it necessarily looks fantastic here. It does kind of wall that Sneasler. Not wall, like the fighting coverage goes into it pretty well, but being able to, like, maybe like a Covert Cloak Sandy Shocks could be really good here. The electric and the ground, yes, you are walled by these two, so maybe it's not the greatest here, actually, now that I think of it. Like, even the Walking Wake, yeah, this thing's not coming. Sorry, I love me some Sandy Shocks, but it's not coming. Like, you hit the Walking Wake neutrally, the Clefairy, like, maybe like an Electro Web set or something, but even then, like, Rillaboom, Ogerpon, like, you know that you're going to see these things, so, and the Walking Wake, and it just counters this thing, so maybe this thing sits at home. Hitmontop, guarantee, 100% is coming, no question. Intimidate looks fantastic this week. Whenever you're facing an Ogerpon Hearthflame, Intimidate looks amazing. It's the only way to kind of keep it at bay. I don't think you're running Clear Amulet on the Rillaboom, so you can lower the damage output from that as well. The Fake Out against this team, just not the Ribombee, so watch out this matchup here, the Ribombee versus the Hitmontop. Could be problematic. The Thwackey, I doubt it. Like, what are you hitting with it? Like, I don't think you're hitting anything, so doubtful. Maybe Fake Out, but I feel like that's Hitmontop's role this week, so no way. Darkspawn, yeah, it is immune to the fire, but this does have Mold Breaker, so you can still hit it through its well-baked body. But I do think Darkspawn looks okay here. Colosso might be an interesting bring, actually, because, like, as long as you can navigate that Walking Wake, I do think it looks pretty good. Like, maybe Ogerpon brings the 2 stabs, the fire and the grass, and then runs, like, Stomping Tantrum. That way you can at least hit the Colossal. Just watch out for your Terra, though, because if this thing's running Flash Fire, and this thing's running Well-Baked Body, if you Terra, these things are not taking any damage from those things, so be careful to preserve that Terra there. This might not just be a turn 1 Terra, go do damage. It might just be a try to navigate these two, so if they do come, they're not bad. I also think that, yes, I do feel like Duosion could set Trick Room. It's just, what are you setting it for? Like, your strongest Pokemon are quick, so why set Trick Room? It's more there for a deterrent, and if you want to set it on me, I just don't think this thing's coming this week, because, like, what are you setting it for? Like, maybe Colossal, but unless you're boosting yourself with, like, a weakness policy, or, like, an Absorb Bulb, or something like that, I don't really know how you're making yourself do more damage, so, but anyway, so, yeah, I don't think Duosion, so I guess we're probably expecting, like, Chiyu for sure, Enamorous, Thundurus, Hitmontop for sure, so those 4. I do think there is a universe where one of these two come. I do think there is a way that these things could work out, because you know you're going to be facing the Rillaboom, the Ogerpon. Darkspawn maybe less likely. Maybe to hit the Walking Wake, you know, to resist the Dragon, having a Fairy, but then you have your Enamorous, but if you guess wrong, you might just get KO'd, so maybe it's Darkspawn. Colossal could be interesting. Again, you kind of need, it's a Terra Hog, because this Walking Wake, you know you're going to see it. We'll have to see. Like, this thing does get, like, Meteor Beam as well, so it's, Rock doesn't look super great. Well, maybe into the Ogerpon. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say Colossal's probably coming. Let's just say Colossal's coming. So yeah, probably those 5. I think Ogerpon's probably more of a supportive role. I don't know what it's doing offensively this week, so I don't know. Maybe the grass coverage, so you can even hit the Walking Wake neutrally. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's not my team, it's his. But Zem's team, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Rillaboom. I've already kind of dipped into what I think he might do because it's really hard to leave these three at home. The Rillaboom's got an interesting spot here, right? Because it just hard loses to Chi-Yu. It hard loses to Enamorus, the Thunder. Well, maybe not Thunderous, but like, because now they don't really get flying coverage. The Sandy Shocks, I think is unlikely, but you also have the grass coverage on the Ogerpon. Yeah, there is a universe where Rillaboom just does not come. Like, I don't... Like, I'm looking at this matchup here, like, what's it really doing for you? Like, it just isn't really hitting anything. Like, and you've already got the Ogerpon here. You might be able to... This might be a week for, like, Scyther or something like that. You know? Maybe? I don't know. Let me get to Scyther later. Clefairy, I do think looks like a good bring here as well. Maybe just have the Hearthflame, just in case you run into the Chi-Yu. You can just go for a Follow Me and then Terra Fire. And then, you know, that way the spread damage isn't hurting that much. Single target damage goes into the Clefairy. I do think that Chi-Yu is probably running spread and single target, as it usually likes to do anyway. Not much of a hot take. The Walking Wing, guaranteed coming, no question. It has to. Probably a defensive Terra for that Enamorus, and that's pretty much all you need. Maybe Terra Poison, or maybe just to make it neutral. It could be Terra Steel, but again, the Chi-Yu is really hard. So maybe Terra Poison, and then just really threaten that Sandy Shocks with the ground coverage. So I don't see any psychic damage coming here. Chi-Yu could run psychic, but again, what, like maybe into the Sneasler psychic could be there. But so yeah, maybe it just might be a neutral Terra against Fairy. Maybe Fairy itself. Like, how is he hitting Fairy types? Doesn't have a Steel type. Doesn't have a Poison type. Just non-stab. Like, Enamorus gets like Sludge Bomb, which is kind of odd, but why? Yeah, maybe for the Enamorus. I don't know. But yeah, so I think Walking Way comes for sure. Rabombi, I feel like you got to match that Tailwind, you know? Maybe protect Tailwind. I think Rabombi's probably got a place here this week. Ditto, maybe. It'd be really nice to take one of his Pokemon. That'd be really nice. Like, Ditto, I'm trying to think when he would actually bring this in a given week. But, because it is kind of a niche Pokemon. He drafted the league's mascot, so hats off to you. Scyther, I did mention that I think there is a place where it could be good this week. Because like, obviously the dual wing beat hits the Ogerpon really well. Struggle Bug could be good, but then you might raise the Enamorus' special attacks. You got to watch out for that. Even Defiant on Thunderous you have to watch out for. So maybe it's not Scyther now that I think of it. But how are you dealing with that Hitmontop is the question. It could be Rabombi Moonblast. That might be all you need. And maybe just chip it with some things. But so maybe Scyther, unlikely. Altaria, no. Why? Floette, that might be the way to stop the Intimidates on these two things. So if you go Floette, Hearthflame, could be a way to go. Yeah, maybe. Like, I've had Floette before in a draft league before. It was okay. It did its job. Flower Veil and Symbiosis could be good. And even a Fairy type as well. Floette actually does decent damage, right? It gets Moonblast. Like, it's got 75 special attack. It's not super high, but Moonblast makes up for it because it's so strong. Yeah. This thing could be good. It gets really nice support too. So, is it a hot take if I say Floette's coming this week? Because how is he hitting Floette? Eviolite Floette, all the special attackers on this team? Yo, Eviolite Floette, calling it. Do it this week. It'd be great. Zem, go back in time. Use this thing. Anyway. So who do I think is going to win this week? Who do I think has the advantage? I think that Scooteezy probably has an advantage. I just think that it's going to be so hard to stop the Onslaught. And the Intimidate just looks so good into his big three. So maybe like... I'm speculating again, like Terra Fairy, Terra Blast on the Walking Wake into the Hitmontop. That might be your answer for it. And then you just hit everything else really hard. Could be the way to go. But I do think I would have to give the advantage to Scooteezy this week. Like, no offense against Zem. I just feel like you really need to like iron out this bottom of your lineup, man. I feel like people could just zero in on these 6 and then you're going to be fine. So yeah, we could always talk about transactions. DM me, we'll talk about it. But anyway. So yeah, their match is going to be coming out. I know Scooteezy, because he's from the land of Australia, his matches are going to be coming out at a different time. So I know that Zem is coming out on Saturday, I believe at noon. Hold on. Let me look at this one again. This is so analog, guys. Where is it here? I've got the... Where is Zem? His is coming out at noon. So his is coming out at noon on Saturday. And then I know that Scooteezy's would be coming out the following morning at 7 a.m. for us. So kind of a weird schedule release for him. So you'll be able to watch Zem's first and then go watch Scooteezy's after the following morning. Maybe just in case you're waiting for matches to come out on the Sunday and you're like, you know what, let's go watch Scooteezy's match and get myself warmed up for the day. So yeah, I would give myself, I would give an advantage to Scooteezy here and check out for their videos coming out on Saturday at noon and then Sunday for Scooteezy. So, but moving on to the next match. So I have a confession to make. Before I have said confession, I'm going to take a drink. Losing my voice, guys, my goodness. All right, so here is my confession. I actually had a confession and an apology. I had I didn't want to do my own matchup preview. I wanted to have one of the other players come on and and actually do mine for me, because obviously this is my match. It's not ideal for me to cover my own, especially when I've already played it, right? But I actually don't remember what happened really, so it's actually good. But at the same time, I actually got on a call with Alexusedsplash and he analyzed my matchup on camera and everything. And the reason you're not seeing it right now is because I don't know where the file went. I recorded it last week and I did it early, trying to be smart. Let's do it nice and early. And now I don't know where the file is. I've scoured my hard drive for it, my SSD, everything, and I don't know where it is. I tried doing like data recovery, and this is an apology. I'm actually gonna message Alex when this is done saying sorry, but I actually need to get this video out soon too, so I don't really have time to record it again. Nor do I want to make him do that with his new child, his new baby girl. Congratulations, by the way. Hey, go on Alex's channel, congratulate him on his new daughter brought into the world this week. Congratulations, buddy. So happy for you. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world. But anyway, but back to Pokemon. So I'm going to actually analyze my own match. I'll try to not to give too much away. It might be kind of very bare bones analysis because, again, I've already played the match. I already know what happens. But I'll kind of tell you what I thought looked good before the match started, maybe in prep, and kind of go from there. So I've got my Gouging Fire, Ogerpon, Enamorous. We all know my team. We don't really need to get into it too much. The Gouging Fire, I do feel looks really good. Again, it's probably my ace on the team, so you have to give me a good reason not to bring it. So what does Gouging Fire want to do this week? A supportive Gouging Fire looks really good. Like Breaking Swipe, Snarl, Howl, things like that are always really, really nice. So I do think Snarl and Breaking Swipe look really good into Qianpao Entei, and then the Psy Spam as well. So there is a universe where I could bring both of them, because it just really, really hinders the damage from my opponent's team. I also think that the fire coverage looks good into Crown and Qianpao. Hits the Indeedee really, really hard. Hits most things really hard, actually. So the Ogerpon, I do feel like it's got a place here as well. Again, with the rock coverage against his big boppers here. Gets around the E-Speed stuff. It is faster than Entei, so redirecting the E-Speed if I wanted to. It also is able to hit these two things with rock. Again, neutral into most of the team, the rock. So Ogerpon looks really good as well. Enamorous. Enamorous looks okay. It's just the Qianpao is really hard to navigate. The Psy Spam, it hits neutrally. Okay, fine, you get coverage into Crown. But like, if you look at his type chart here, he only has one fairy weakness, and he's got a bunch of resists. So I'm not sure it looks the best this week. But there is a universe where it could be brought, because the things that resist, unless I go like Terra Ground, Terra Blast, or something like that, it does hit the things that resist fairy. So fairy hitting things neutral, and then the ground coverage going into the things that resist the fairy. There's always a place for Enamorous on a team. Cresselia is something that can resist the Psy Spam onslaught. Just got to watch out for the Qianpao. So yeah, these four Pokemon, it's really hard to actually pick a Terra type and a Pokemon to bring into both of these. But if you guess right, I feel like you're going to be in a good spot. So we'll have to see what happens this weekend. But I do think Cresselia works here because this team is so freaking fast. Like, how do I not go Trick Room? So I can do it with Cresselia, I can do it with Klefki, I can do it with Gengar. But I do think that Trick Room looks fantastic in this matchup, because like once I get it up, it's really just me versus Powdon, isn't it? Which we'll get to that in a minute. Cresselia, not a whole lot of status issues, maybe like the Sacred Fire, so Lunar Blessing does look pretty good, and just to heal things off. The Klefki, again, I could use it to set Trick Room, but unless I'm just kind of going for my side of the field, prankster stuff like screens, Maybe like Misty Terrain I can bring to stop the Psychic Terrain. That could be good too, just to kind of stop that onslaught from the Psy Spam. But the Entei is a little bit difficult to navigate with the Klefki. But so I could go like D-Gleam with 2 screens, and then maybe Misty Terrain or something was actually something I wanted to do as well in prep. The Milotic I think looks pretty good too. Interesting thing I found from my prep, actually, I found out that he has no grass coverage and he has no electric coverage on the whole team. Like, I think Thunderfang on Hippowdon, and he's got like Grass Knot on Entei. That's it. So there is no universe where Milotic does not come to this matchup. Like, yes, water doesn't hit everything super hard, but there's a bunch of different Milotics you can run in a week. You can run a supportive, you can run a bulky, stally, offensive, whatever you might want. So Milotic is definitely coming into a matchup like this. If I was analyzing someone else's week and I knew that information, I always say this about everybody else's matchup, there is no universe where this thing stays at home. So I brought it. Surprise. Anyway, so it's coming. It looks good. The Gengar looks okay, I guess. Unfortunately, the Indeedee, you can't really touch it unless you're having the Sludge Bomb. I just don't think it looks great here. Like the Sucker Punch from the Chien-Pao, the Psy Spam, it doesn't look great. Like, unless this thing holds Focus Sash, there's no way it's coming. Like, why? Like, what's it doing? We already said that the Hippowdon looks really good into my Trick Room, so, or the one thing I have to navigate. So if that's the way that the team's gonna go, why bring Gengar, right? Mudsdale into this team, again, you gotta watch out for the Chien-Pao. Even in Trick Room, like if you run the Focus Sash, you could definitely hit me really, really hard back. You got to watch out for the Sacred Fire burns on the Mudsdale as well. It doesn't exactly like do well into the Psy Spam as well. Even with like Assault Vest, it's still going to chunk it pretty hard. So Mudsdale could come, it might not come. It does hit things nicely. Like Hippowdon, like if the problem in Trick Room is the Hippowdon, Mudsdale does answer it pretty well with like Stamina. There's no Intimidate on the team. So there is a universe where I think Mudsdale comes. Tauros Paldea, maybe because again, the Intimidate, he did bring Clear Amulet Hippowdon, and Justin wasn't able to intimidate the Hippowdon, and that was one of his answers for it. So, the thing is he can only run 1 Clear Amulet. You got Lycanroc here, Hippowdon here, Houndstone. Entei can't be intimidated because of Inner Focus. And the Chien-Pao, if you do want to go with the Focus Sash, I can limit the damage. So, Tauros could come here. It just depends on exactly how it wants to be played. Ampharos, I think it's unlikely. If the problem is Hippowdon, why am I setting Trick Room for it? It just brings in the Hippowdon, and then I can't do any damage to it. So that's the analysis from my team. Hopefully as unbiased I could have done. Well, let's get into Zolrain's team. So Chien-Pao, how do you not bring these 4? Again, the Psy Spam always looks good. I don't think Psy Spam looks fantastic into my team. I got the 1 resist in the Cresselia, but like it's maybe you're not going with the Psy Spam. Maybe you go with like another way to run it. The Iron Crown always looks okay. Just got to watch out for the Gouging Fire. So Defensive Terra into the Gouging Fire. Unfortunately, the Booster Energy, it does go faster than my Gouging Fire. So if he runs Booster, there's not really a whole point of me running Booster Energy on the Gouging Fire, because if he runs Booster Energy on the Iron Crown, then I don't go first anyway. But I do outspeed everything else if I do that. So there is a possibility I run it anyway, or just run a different item like Assault Vest looks good on it with a support set. But definitely watch out for this matchup here. I do think this looks pretty good. Yeah, the Chien-Pao looks good into the Ogerpon, the Enamorus. It goes into the Gengar, the Cresselia, the Mudsdale. Yeah, this Chien-Pao's coming for sure. The Psy Spam, again, I mentioned it. This Indeedee, by the way, I think this Indeedee's probably running an Imprison set. Like, if you want to stop my Trick Room from going up, you can try Roar, you can try Taunt, you can try Imprison, you can try phasing moves like Roar, like Dragon Tail, things like that. Whirlwind's another one. So like there's a bunch of different ways to stop Trick Room, or just let them set it and you deal with it. So he's got the Hippowdon there. So, and just navigate it, set it for me, right? If you're him. So yeah, I don't know. I expect some sort of Imprison on the Indeedee as well. The Entei I think looks okay. It doesn't look fantastic, but it looks okay. It kind of gets walled by the Gouging Fire. So, but maybe it just hits everything else. The Ogerpon is going to be tough for it. So Entei does look pretty good into the matchup, but maybe it's an Assault Vest Entei with like Snarl, and you've got the Sacred Fire to burn things. So maybe Defensive Terra against these 2 things. Why not? You know, maybe like Terra. Actually, there is no Terra against these 2 things. That's why I drafted it. It's so good. Anyway, So maybe not Entei. If it comes, I'm not sure what it's doing. Grafaiai, I don't expect him to set the terrain that's going to stop him from going Prankster Grafaiai. I do think that the Unburdened Grafaiai could work. Not exactly sure what set he's going to run on it, but he knows his Grafaiai more than I. Houndstone, I don't get it. I don't, not in this matchup. I don't know what it's really going to do. Maybe like a Choice Band, Terra, Ghost. I don't know. I don't know the calcs into my Cresselia, but I don't think it looks super great here. Probably staying at home. Inteleon, again, probably staying at home. Not really sure what it's doing here. Hippowdon, I think, is coming for sure. I don't think there's any universe where it doesn't come. It's the only answer if I set Trick Room. Like, if I set Trick Room, what are you doing? If you don't bring this thing, there's really no threats in Trick Room. Unless you're really confident you're going to stop it from going up. But Hippowdon, I think, needs to come. Lycanroc. This Lycanroc is so annoying. In testing, this thing was so annoying. Focus Sash with Endeavor. If I don't do 1 HP of damage before Trick Room goes up, I hit it once, and it just knocks my Cresselia or whatever, like my Enamorus or my Milotic or Mudsdale down to 1 HP. So there goes my bulk. If you just knock my HP down to 1, that would really suck. So, but anyway, so that's Lycanroc. Fletchinder, nope, not even gonna go over it. It's not coming. Like, why? Like, again, why? Like, am I going for a fast mode here into this team? His team is way too fast. Why would I ever do that? So I'm just gonna say I'm not even gonna give it the time of day. It's not coming. Like, no. So who do I think is gonna win this week? Obviously me, right? Why would I give the advantage to my opponent? I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. Comment down below, who do you think is going to win me versus Zolrain this week, based on the matchup, based on the player, based on tactics, based on whatever you think either player is going to do. Comment down below, maybe pause the video, just go down, do a little comment, just say, hey, I think Jay's going to win this week because he's the best. He's the best. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm subscribed. Ooh, timeout, commercial break. I have been hearing some reports online of people being unsubscribed from channels. And I'm not just saying this to get subscribes right now, guys. I haven't really seen it myself yet. I don't really check to see if I'm subscribed. I should probably do that because I'm kind of telling you guys to do that. Do me a favor, if you guys can kind of just check to see if you are subscribed. If you want to be subscribed, I'm not going to force you to, but if you think you are, or you watch this every single week, just go check. Because I've heard like larger channels, people are being unsubscribed. They're like, I've been subscribed for years and now I'm unsubscribed. Why? So if there's an issue or a glitch in the matrix or whatever it is, just go check. And if you aren't and you want to be subscribed, it really helps out the channel. But at the same time, I want you guys to be notified when these are coming out if you want to be. So anyway, what is Tion? Like T-O, remember in like elementary school, T-O, and then you go Tion or T-off, right? Anyway, back into the next matchup. So I'm not going to say who's going to win this week other than me. But anyway, you guys let me know who's going to win. Before Saturday, oh yeah, my matchup is actually coming out at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. So go check it out. Check out Zolrain's matchup. Check out my matchup when it actually happens. And you can find out the perspectives from both players. So tune in for that. Match number 4. Again, let's take a drink. Or just, oh my goodness, I'll just shout out to Shady. Remember when? Oh, let's just put the Monster sponsor me, please. No, I'm kidding. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but anyway. Justin versus Konamiplsnerf. I just have Konami here because that's what I call him. Justin Tang versus Konamiplsnerf. I still think that Konami has the best team in the draft. This team's fantastic. This team, look at this team. It's got everything. But I also think, again, I mentioned Justin. Justin, I think, is upset. I would be. This guy's won 3 regional tournaments, and he used to win a bunch of draft leagues all the time. He was #1 on the draftleague.nl website. He is not used to losing. I think he's pissed off. I would be. Why wouldn't you be? You're used to winning. Winning is a drug, right? So, but anyway, so I think he's going to be super on fire to win this week. I think he's probably going to put in a ton of prep. But I do think he's got his work cut out for him because I do think, again, this is the strongest team in the draft. But Justin did draft like the ever true, ever so good Talonflame, Garchomp, Levitate Mon, insert offense with redirection, things like that. I do think that this team has been proven in Draft League history to do well. Not this exact core, but, well, not this exact team of 10, but the core itself and what it does. Earthquake spam next to Levitate Mons, next to a Tailwind Pokemon priority. Could be Talonflame. Usually it's Talonflame, or Tornadus could work. Something with Levitate that can hit hard, things like that. Yes, he has like nice supporting pieces here as well, but we'll have to see how he wants to play it. But anyway, this matchup, Goldango, I actually don't remember this matchup at all, which is crazy. So my memory is really bad. So Goldango into this team. Yeah, the Raging Bolt's there, but I do believe it gets like the Dazzling Gleam coverage. If this is AV Raging Bolt, Goldango doesn't look like a slam dunk here, honestly. It does hit the Terrakion, it does hit the Weezing, hits the Gigas. It's funny because Raging Bolt does seem like it's the only kind of not great matchup for it. So maybe Goldango looks good here. He doesn't have a Trick Room setter on this team as well, so I do think this is going to be the battle of the Tailwinds. So Talonflame looks fantastic here. Garchomp with Earthquake Spam. Look at all those ground weaknesses. Wow. It's also a major answer for that Raging Bolt. So, and I do think that the Bonnet's going to have to come to kind of counteract that. So we'll have to see how he does that. But Garchomp looks fantastic here. Ninetales to stop the Sun. So I think Ninetales could come here. But unfortunately, even if you do switch it in, like you could do like min speed Ninetales just to make sure he doesn't. Murkrow could set the Sun anyway. So maybe Ninetales doesn't look great here. Maybe. So this one might be in the maybe column for me. Hydreigon, so you can Earthquake Spam and maybe hit the Bonnet. It gets fire coverage, so if you want to set the Sun for it, then you can just start hitting that Bonnet for fire damage. Again, Talonflame hits the Bonnet as well, so that could be good as well. Tauros also hits the Bonnet with a close combat. I do think fighting coverage looks good into this team. Terrakion, Gigas, Bonnet, Ambipom, so Tauros looks fantastic here, especially into the Typhlosion and the Ninetales lead. Magmortar could be good too. Follow Me is always good. Honestly, the Vital Spirit with the Spore stuff on the Bonnet, I do think you need to bring the Magmortar. Yeah, you just got to watch out for the Rock Slide spam from the Terrakion. Yeah, you know what? Magmortar has to come, right? Because you got the beat up justified with the Terrakion. You've got the Eruption spam. Yeah, and then so it's really hard not to bring the Magmortar this week. I think this is a slam dunk right here. I do think Talonflame and Garchomp are slam dunks with the Magmortar. Bramogast, maybe not. I don't think so. Glaceon, maybe. It's a tough bring because the Terrakion, yes, it does hit the Raging Bolt kind of hard, so maybe it could be good. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one in the maybe column because again, it's another answer for the Bonnet. It's another answer for the Raging Bolt, the Murkrow. But you do, it's like one of those, like it's good and bad because it gets wiped by Typhlosion, Ninetales, Terrakion, probably Gigas, I would imagine. So it's a tough bring. So, but I think it could come. Gothita, nah. Like, nah. Yeah, I don't think Justin's Trick Room mode is good enough to bring the Gothita, and he does have the Weezing stuff, so it just might make Gothita and its Shadow Tag completely useless. So anyway, so I do think that a combination of Talonflame, Garchomp, Hydreigon, Magmortar, probably the Tauros, just so you can intimidate things, maybe with the Ability Shield. Yeah, that's probably the 5. I'm not sure what the 6 is going to be, but I think it's probably that 5. But on Konami's side, again, this is a very tough team to deal with. There's a bunch of different ways you could go about it. The Terrakion looks okay. Defensive Terra into the Garchomp. Not sure what that Terra might be. I do think that fighting hits the Hydreigon. The Rock goes into most of the team pretty well. You got to watch out for that Paldean Tauros. But if you get that beat up off, so I think the Ambipom might be necessary, even to just kind of fake out. Rock Slide spam to go into the Talonflame. You kind of lose to the Goldango, so yeah, Raging Bolt's got to come. Murkrow probably has to come to maintain the weather that you want and the speed control. The Terrakion, I think, looks pretty good. The Weezing is always annoying to deal with, so you can kind of shut off that Gale Wings, but based on the speed stats, I don't think it really cares if it has Gale Wings. It just goes first anyway, right? Gets the Tailwind up. So maybe not the Weezing. It could come. The Bonnet, I think, is necessary as well. The Gigas, because the Weezing might not look fantastic here, maybe the Gigas and the Weezing both don't come. They kind of need to come together. Like a supportive Gigas is pretty good too. I think it gets like Wide Guard, Icy Wind, things like that. So actually, that'd be kind of heat, actually. Cool. Yeah, why not? Special Gigas for the win. Special support Gigas. Bonnet, I think you have to come. I think it has to come. Just have a defensive Terra against the Magmortar and you'll be fine. I think that this thing just can be really, really annoying. Just make sure that Magmortar's gone because the follow me stuff. Ninetales, maybe. I just don't know how it's really. It better be in really good support because like what's it doing offensively? Probably nothing. Like even the Brambleghast is immune to the heat wave stuff, so maybe the Goldengo, but yeah, we gotta find out ways that we're hitting that Goldengo, right? So yeah, maybe Sucker Punch on Bonnet could be a way to do it. Yeah, probably. I'm shaking my head back and forth quite a bit because I just don't really know. The Medicham. Again, the Goldengo's really tough for Medicham to deal with. It does get a lot of coverage though, and a lot of nice support. Probably not. Typhlosion could come. Terra Grass looks okay, I guess. But then you're susceptible to the Goldengo. Yeah, maybe like a late game Typhlosion could be really good into the Dengo. Maybe force him to Terra one of these quad weaknesses early on in the game. And then you just go and hit that Goldengo after. Maybe not Scarf because I think that just like protect and then you just hit it. And then Eruption doesn't do that much. And yeah, so maybe not a Scarf set on this one. And I think Ambipom could work too if you bring, yeah, Fake Out and then also the Terrakion. Yeah, I do think Ambipom probably comes. So it's probably going to be something along the lines of Raging Bolt, Murkrow, Terrakion, Ambipom, Brute Bonnet, I think. So that'd probably be the 5. The 6th is always a wild card. I always like picking 5 of the 6. And then the 6th Pokemon is like, depending on how he wants to play. I'd probably give the... Who would I give the edge to this week? And by the way, you guys know you can comment on any of these matchups, whoever you think's going to win. You don't have to just do mine, which I ask you guys to do. You could always do whichever one you want. Just chime in on what you think looks good. Again, it just kind of keeps the conversation going. I always talk with you guys in comments anyway. Who would I give that? I'm trying to separate the player because it's really hard to say Justin's going to lose at anything. But he did lose week 1. I'm going to give the advantage to Justin because I don't think he liked losing. I think he's going to go hard into prep this week. I do think that the Garchomp looks very good this week as long as he can answer the Bonnet. So I'm going to go ahead and give the advantage to Justin this week. And let's move on to the last. Oh, when's this one coming out? This one's coming out on Sunday. And I believe it's noon. Noon time, Eastern time. Both matches are coming out together. So go check those out. Start off your Sunday. Well, not start off. Hopefully you're not waking up at noon. But if you wake up at noon, comment down below. We'll talk about it. But yeah, so Justin versus Konami. I think Justin's probably going to win. Just not probably. I'm going to give him the edge. This is give him a 60-40. And those matches are coming out at noon. So going into the last matchup, CiscomooYT versus Jon Luke. Again, I have a hard time, both of these teams, I have a really hard time deciding on how they want to play, right? So just because they're so random, like they're not even so random, they both have visions for their teams that I don't really see. It's just a bunch of stuff. Like these teams have a bunch of stuff on them. Like I could make modes and strategies for these teams, but I don't really know. So this one I might just kind of mention which Pokemon look good like I've been doing before, but not really get into like strategies and stuff like that. Cause like, again, it's really difficult. And yeah, it's more just like problems for the other team. Like they might have to overcome and I'll let us figure out how they actually overcame that hurdle. So let's start with the top, go to the bottom. Iron Hands into this team, always into the Incineroar, looks good. I think in the meta, in Reg F and stuff like that, and even like Reg I and G and stuff like that, Iron Hands. It's funny because they both like to be on the field against each other because you intimidate the hands that likes to hold the AV, but you also hit the Incineroar back. So expect there a little bit of a cat and mouse with these two. Resetting the drops, hitting the Incineroar, maybe catching him on a switch in. So that could be it too. Some coverage moves. I know he ran Play Rough in week 1, which I do think looks good into the Drago. Maybe a defensive Terra, maybe a Terra Fairy Play Rough or something for the hands, just to hit that Drago even harder. But we'll get into the Drago and what it does after. The Heatran, I think, looks pretty good. He doesn't have a ground type on his team, so Heatran looks fantastic. So expect, does it get any ground coverage anywhere else? Like Incineroar probably gets Earthquake or something. It gets a bunch of random stuff. Drago, Earth Power, yeah, so expect Earth Power on Drago. But I can't see why Heatran doesn't come this week. It looks pretty good. Fire looks okay into the team, but again, Incineroar, how are you hitting it? I know it gets Earth Power itself, so maybe Earth Power, Fire. Yeah, maybe it could be AV. You could run 3 attacks and then protect as well on Heatran with like Life Orb. So like maybe like Heat Wave, Flash Cannon, Earth Power Protect, something like that with Flame Body. Looks pretty good, why not? Yeah, but I think Heatran actually looks really good here. Wow. It even gets like Power Gem, I think, into the Zapdos, so we'll have to see what third move, the coverage move he wants to run on the Heatran, or it's AV and run both. Could be it too. He does have a very special team, so it could be Assault Vest Heatran. But then you're not running it on the hands, so maybe Clear Amulet hands, AV Heatran, why not? For Edgeraf, I'm not sure which team wants to play in Trick Room more than the other. I really don't know. Like, both of these teams have okay Trick Room modes, so like neither of them are fantastic. Maybe I'd give the edge to Cisco when it comes to Trick Room, but because I think that hands probably beats the Slowbro. The Chestnut, maybe not, so we'll have to see what he wants to bring. The Frigiraffe, it loses to the Incin for the most part, so I think that Frigiraffe could be brought. Stops the Fake Out, so I think that might be worthwhile. Limits that Meowstic to what it can do. Yeah, so maybe like Goggles Frigiraffe, because he's got the Venonat over here, so that could be good. Mimikyu. Is Mimikyu good this week? I don't think so. I don't know. I just don't think so. Like, what are you doing back to them? Like the Drago, maybe, but other than that, like, what are you really hitting? Like your 96 attack. I think it's 96 attack. Where is it? 90. It's not even 96. It's 90. So play rough into that Chestnut with 100 and what? 22? 122 defense. Yeah, what are you doing with that, really? Especially if he wants to go for like the Iron Defense stuff and like, but again, what are you hitting? You're hitting the Drago. Okay, I guess it does get like, does it get Flash Cannon? I don't think so. He usually likes to go like Terra Blast or something, but with the Terra Steel. Yeah, I just don't know what Mimikyu is really doing for you. You're not burning a bunch of things with Will-O-Wisp. You're not doing a lot of damage. The setup doesn't look great. Do you want to set Trick Room? Maybe. I feel like Frigiraffe is just a better bring this week. Gyarados. Gyarados could come. It's got a really good special defense. The Zapdos is probably the biggest problem for it, obviously, with the quad weakness. But the Intimidate looks okay into the Incin. It looks okay into the Chestnut. It could be a Moxie Gyarados, actually. Actually, Moxie Gyarados looks okay this week. Ooh, D-Dance Gyarados. You outspeed. Hold on, guys. Hear me out. You run the D-Dance Gyarados. You get the support. Maybe you fake out the Zapdos. Hopefully it's not Cloak. And then you get the D-Dance off. Now you outspeed the Zapdos. Hit it at +1. Bam. Go for it. I think this thing could be pretty good. It's got enough special defense to maybe take a Regidrago hit. Maybe hit it back with the Terraflying Terra Blast. You'll outspeed it the next turn. Could be pretty good. Meowscarada. Yeah, it could be good. Meowscarada, probably the Sash candidate this week, wouldn't you think? Yeah. Like Incineroar hits you way too hard. The Drago hits you too hard. Not a lot of flying coverage on Zapdos. It gets like the Air Cutter and it gets Hurricane. Don't know if he's going Rain this week. Doubtful. Maybe. And then the Sylveon just obliterate. Yeah, this has got to be Sash, right? Meowscarada's got to be Sash. Maybe Noivern has the Covert Cloak if it wants to come. I'd be curious to the calc of a Draco Meteor into that Regidrago. Maybe give it a damage boosting item to actually pick up that KO. Maybe fake out the Tailwind Pokemon, and that way you can make sure you outspeed like a Scarf Drago. Actually, you don't outspeed the Scarf Drago. Yeah, maybe fake it out. Fine. Maybe like the Suicide lead with the what's it called? The Draco Meteor. Maybe that happens later when you find out what this item is on the Drago. So, Gliscor, whatever you want to call it. It looks okay. Hits the Incin. It's got Hyper Cutter, so you can't be intimidated. So, I think it's a good bring this week. Yeah, why not? Maybe like an Assault Vest set. Assault Vest, Hyper Cutter, 4 attacks. Gets like U-turn, pivot in and out. Looks pretty good. Hits the Incin. Any answer to an Incin is a good answer, so. And then hits the Cavalion. Watch out for the Slowbro and the Ice Beam. Flying coverage for the Chestnut. Yeah, I think Gliscor looks really good this week. Frostmoth. Yeah, there's only one Focus Sash, guys. You just lose to that Incin, right? Terra Water maybe, I guess, but then the Zapdos, I don't know. Probably not Frostmoth, and probably not Pincurchin, so. Because why are you bringing the Pincurchin? Why? Like, I guess it beats the Slowbro and Trick Room, so maybe physical one, but then you have a hard time hitting the Slowbro, and if you go special, you have a hard time hitting the Sylveon, so. Yeah, probably not Pincurchin, but maybe. That's the most I'll ever give this thing as a maybe, so. But on Jon Luke's head, we got Incineroar. Yes, it's coming. Next Pokemon. It's always coming. When is Incineroar not coming to a match? It does everything. Even if, I don't know. Even if it's a bad matchup for it. When is it a bad? No. Even if it's a bad matchup, it doesn't have any bad matchup. It's Incineroar. It's going to do well. Regidrago, I've been talking about how good Regidrago is and having counters to it all over Cisco's team. So yeah, I think that's coming as well. Zapdos, you have to have answers for the Gyarados, so I think these three for sure. Sylveon was so good for Jon Luke in week 1. I do think it probably has to come. It just hits too many things. Just watch out for the Heatran. So maybe like a Terra Fire on the Sylveon looks okay. Like, how's he hitting Terra Fire? Just eliminate the Gyarados. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Watch out for the Gliscor, I guess. Meowstic, probably not. Like, maybe Meowstic again, like with the Farigiraf. It doesn't mean you can't bring it. It's just something you have to navigate. You could go screens or something like that, and then he just goes for like, you can imprison imprison the Hyper Voice, the Trick Room, the Psychic, imprison everything Farigiraf can do. Just make it get off the field. Why not? Just run your anti-Farigiraf on this Meowstic. Could be cool. Cobalion, I don't think so. Maybe the Body Press looks okay. Yeah, Body Press and the Heatran, defensive Terra. Again, I'm talking about defensive Terras on a lot of these, so maybe it's not Cobalion. It's a very niche situation where it comes and does well. Slowbro. I think Slowbro is always a good bring. Just watch out for the Iron Hands. So, but Psychic does hit hands, so yeah, maybe the Venonat next to the Slowbro or something like that. You can just get a free Psychic off, redirect it. So maybe that might mean safety goggles on hands, but I feel like that's a hard item for such a low tier Pokemon. Chestnut. Wide Guard could be okay. Like Wide Guard against the Heatran, but what other spread moves is this team really running? Maybe the Hyper Voice, so it could be Chestnut. The Body Press, maybe this is actually a better Body Press user into the Heatran. Yes, they're both weak to the fire, but yeah, that's too risky because if he runs Flamethrower, which he probably will, how are you going to get around that aside from Terra? You just get obliterated, so probably not. Venonat, I think, has an interesting place this week, you know, redirecting things. Again, weak to the Heatran. The Heatran just looks really good here. Yeah, probably not the Venonat. The Sentret, probably not again, unless you Focus Sash it. There's not a lot of Focus Sash candidates on Jon Luke's team, so he has that advantage with these last two. Or even like the Chestnut, if you're expecting to take like a flying move or something like that, but dual Wing Beat, maybe not this week. Or maybe Terra Flying, Terra Blast, but again, that's a really unique set. Yeah, so maybe not Focus Sash, maybe on one of these two, maybe just take the hit. Maybe Sentret with Focus Sash could work, maybe Venonat with Focus Sash could work. Yeah, I don't know. So what do I think's coming on the top team? Probably a combination of Iron Hands, Heatran, Gyarados, Gliscor. I think those four are pretty good. I think they look pretty good. Yeah, and then the other two, I just don't know. Again, I don't really know what they're going to bring, right? Or how they really want to play it. So I'd probably say 4 of the 6. That's probably what's coming. And on Jon Luke's side, Incin, Regidrago, the Slowbro I think looks pretty good as well. Maybe a Redirector. And I think Sylveon looks okay too. But what's your answer for Heatran? His best answer for Heatran is probably... Damn. How are you beating that Heatran? Does it have to be Terra Ground, Terra Blast on something? I feel like it does. Oh, Regidrago with Earth Power. That's probably it. But you have to have more than one answer. Probably Slowbro, yeah. So, Incineroar, Regidrago, Zapdos for the Gyarados, yeah. And then the Slowbro for sure. And then I think Sylveon's probably a bring. It's just a matter. Yeah, you got to watch out for the Noivern and it hits the Iron Hands. Yeah, Sylveon as well. So those 5. And then maybe a Redirector might be my maybe. Could be Meowstic as well. But I do think that those are the 5 that are probably coming. And that's the last one. Guys, if you stuck around for the entire video, thank you so much. I love the support. I love that you guys stick around for these videos. The watch time, I can see it. I know that you guys are sticking around to the end, so thank you very much, which is why I put so much effort into these videos. And I also appreciate you guys listening to me talk. You know, it means a lot. It really does. And we're having a lot of fun with this DDL season. All the players are. I'm talking to it. They're loving the fact that everybody's making content. The comments that you guys are making. It's just been a blast so far. So it's actually nice to be a part of one for a change instead of just covering one. So thank you very, very much for watching. And just like I mentioned earlier in the video, comment down below who you think is going to win my matchup. I don't think I'm going to put it back on the screen, but you guys know my team. I'm facing Zolrain. What do you think looks good for me? What do you think looks good for him? Who do you think is going to win? And why do you, and if you think I'm going to lose, why? Anyway, so let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win between me and him. Also, again, do me a favor. Go check to see if you are subscribed if you want to be. If you think you already are, just go check anyway. And if you're not, just hit the button and that'd be great. Super, super helpful. And again, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.